Hey, Scott Hilton, Scott Talks. On a bike vlog, just chatting about what I did today. I got to go home and water plants and do some stuff like that. Now, today is nicer. This is the 17th of November, 2025. We're in Central Florida, in Ocala. 77 degrees, high will be 80. And I dropped by McDonald's and got a McChicken sandwich with my bottled water and chilled and that was my little lunch for the day. Stopped at Publix and I have ice cream in my panniers. I have milk in my panniers. I have creamer in my panniers. And I got a little protein bar because my other one I took the last bite out of. And what else do I have? I have one more thing if it's cold. Ice cream. Yeah, the ice cream sandwiches. What was it? Anyway, doesn't matter. So, milk, creamer, eggs. Eggs is the delicate one, but that should be all right. You know, with panniers, they're kind of on top of the milk, staying cool, and it'll make it. I've got like 8 ice blocks, the little small ones, but they're still good. I checked them back from McDonald's and before Publix, and they only had a little bit of leakage, and I had 2 bigger blocks to kind of keep the cold temperature down. And then I bought another insulated bag. I've got insulated Publix bags, not the plastic top ones, but the zipper around kind. And I've got one in each pannier for the cold items. And then I bought a new one and I doubled it up and put an ice block inside one pannier to keep the air around it cold. And then the other pannier has several blocks in it. And that keeps the ice cream and the creamers in there. So it keeps that cold, real cold. So it'll be an easy trip back, and talking to you guys, I should get back, everything should be fine. I've done this before, it's not my first rodeo. And, it usually takes me about 15-20 minutes to get back, so it's not a big deal. So like, share, and subscribe if you learned anything about biking. You know, watch some of my videos. I've got videos on biking, shopping at the store, how I do it and how it evolves. I mean, you can see some of the early videos and go, that's not a good way to do it, Scott. But you live and learn. Live and learn. That's what YouTube's all about. Learning new stuff. How to do this. How do I commute to work? Watch some videos. I love the Shifter channel. That guy's great. He has some great advice on commuting and different things. I made a little video just recently on bike locks and the safety aspects of them. You need to check that out. It'll be available in a couple of days. And there's a shuttle bus. This is Bridgewater Retirement Center. I don't know how active it is, but it doesn't seem too active. But they take people places. They have a little bus over there. They got a nice water fountain, nice bench here. I love stopping here and talking to you guys. I've got several videos from this bench. I love this bench. The water fountain. We've got all these dry retention areas here in Central Florida. You see how all the water, if it rains too much, instead of flooding the building, it runs down and fills this up. And this is already technically filled. A lot of our dry retention areas they don't have water in them. There's a community up the street on top of the world called Stone Creek by Del Webb. And they filled a lot of theirs up with some water so that it would have fountains or it'd be decorative. But they're pretty deep, so they'll take on, and a lot of them have, like this one runs off, extra stuff runs off into it from a little creek-like area. But a lot of them have piping to take it from one area to the other to really distribute the water out, depending on how bad it gets in some areas. And being near a golf course and, anywhere really in Florida is good. It doesn't matter you don't play golf. It's good because all those high hills or the greens and different things, water runs off of them, goes into the sand traps, floods the golf course more. And it's okay if the golf course floods a little bit. You just don't want your house to flood. That's the deal. They build the houses up a little bit and away from that so that you have less risk of flooding. Where I'm at on top of the world, I don't think we don't have flood insurance because it's not gonna flood. We got a dry retention behind us, which makes a great separation between houses. I mean, it's a nice, long, wide separation between houses. So we got lucky there because a lot of times they charge more for things like if you have a golf course view, you get charged more. If you live near water, like if you live near this with the water fountain, you'd get charged more. If you're near a lake, you'll get charged more. So any view, it's like the mountains. If you have a great view, you're getting charged. If you're buried in the woods somewhere, you're buried in the woods, but you better not be downhill from all that rain coming on the top of the mountain. You better be on top of the mountain or you're going to get flooded probably. And there are places, low-lying places, it's on YouTube. Some businesses on 200, Highway 200, showed flooding. There's some old neighborhoods had some flooding, you know, in Ocala. So you just have to watch where you're going, but you want to get up high, you know, it's slightly uphill going up to on top of the world in places. So you want to have lots of drainage, lots of, you know, keep the junk down, keep your lawns nice, maintained, keep the tree limbs out of your drains and things like that, because that'll clog them up and then it won't drain right. So we're pretty bulletproof here. Well, I mean, on top of the world, and we're pretty bulletproof here. You know, we haven't had flooding issues. I think the villages have had areas where flooding issues hit, and I don't think we have here. I've seen some videos of basically stores and things on 200 and some neighborhoods that are out in old neighborhoods, they look like. So, and there aren't too many sinkholes around here. Most of it's mostly on the west coast. And I think it has to do with the fact the meteor that hit and killed the dinosaurs just above South America and vibrated out on the limestone and crunched it up, and it made it kind of collapse. It collapses more on the west side of Florida because that's about where the meteor hit straight across. So you get more sinkholes on the west side of Florida than you do the east side of Florida. And in the central part, you know, you get a few every once in a while, but we're pretty good here, you know, and a lot of houses that have had them just barely, you know, just fill it with concrete. Just take truckloads of concrete and they fill those holes up, and that's how they fix them. And, you know, you're probably good the rest of the house, the life of your house, hopefully. So that's usually the fix. But, yeah, so here in Central Florida, at least we've got the breeze, pretty good breeze. I don't know if you can see a breeze. See those little guys moving around a little bit, a little breeze, cool you off. It's a little sunny right now. What time is it? 12:41. So it's a little breeze. I think it comes from more being in the middle because we get breezes from the east Atlantic and the bay on the west, and they kind of mix and match. And sometimes we get some nice, really nice breezes, and you're like, oh, this is all right, because we thought Central Florida would just be ghastly hot, and it can be in the summer. I mean, you know, the humidity and bad hair days are a real thing in the summer, so especially. But, you know, but it's nice. In November, I'm out riding my bike like it's no big deal, getting ice cream. So I'm going to go. Like, share, and subscribe. If you learned anything, check out my other streaming videos. I've got great ones on all sorts of subjects, 55 plus life. I've got stuff on top of the world. I've got stuff on streaming services, how to save money, differences in some of them, how to get some free ones, how to get some discount ones. A little hint, Peacock, look for Peacock at Black Friday to have a deal for a year. Last 2 years it's been $20. I expect it to be more this year because they bought those NBA rights and they raised the price of basic Peacock. So when Black Friday hits, you check the website under Peacock and see if you can get a year for nothing, like $25, $30, and call it a day and say, I'll take it. It's the third most popular stream, you know, network in the United States. Paramount Plus has CBS, which is the most popular network. Hulu has ABC and Fox, and ABC is the second most popular network in the US. So NBC, Peacock, not a big demand, but it's going to have the Olympics this year, and you know, they've got a few movies and the original shows that are pretty good. So I recommend it for a year for $20-25. Yeah, get it. Hey, why not? So you'll find stuff like that on some of my videos. All right.